Hey guys, what's going on? Drewzy here, back again with another South Park Phone Destroyer Showdown video for you guys today. And in the last Showdown video, a lot of comments were kind of hinting at that people wanted to see more kind of cards that kind of are similar, but would go more head to head to see which one would be more useful possibly in a deck build going forward. Because so far, a lot of my Showdowns, I think all of my Showdowns actually, have been of the same two themed cards. So this is the first Showdown we're going to do with two cards of two different themes for both the same type and both having common cards, because as of right now the BFU is still kind of partially rolling out right now, so I don't want to do rares, epics, or legendary breakdowns just yet until all the BFU is out, and so then we can know for sure what the stat upgrades are going to be for those cards. I think most of them are pretty much leveled out, so possibly in the next Showdown I might do some legendary card breakdown. I know a lot of people have been requesting Medusa Bebe versus Mecha Timmy, and I have started on that project, but I didn't finish it all the way through because I wanted to wait till the stats were finalized. But we're going to do Poseidon Stan and Stan the Great here today. Two cards from two different themes. They're both fighter cards. They're both stands, but which one will come out on top? So we're going to start with Poseidon Stan. So Poseidon Stan, his type is a fighter, and he's from the mystical theme. He's a common rarity card. His maximum health at max rank level 70 is 587 health. His max damage is 130, with his DPS at 54.2. His attack speed is at 2.4, which is about mid-tier for most mystical themes. Mystical theme is probably one of the slowest attack speed themes out of all of them, so you know it's actually fairly high for the mystical theme, but low as far as general attack speed for most cards. Range is 0.78, with a movement speed of 0.675, which is typical for almost all fighters within the game, just so you guys kind of know a baseline. So pretty much for movement speed, most fighters are going to move around the same pace. The same with assassin cards. Most assassins cards move at about a 1.25 movement speed, just to kind of gauge, so you can see kind of the speed difference between both an assassin and a fighter, which it's made to be that way. Assassins are made to be a faster movement speed card. Damage type is single target, so it's only going to attack one target at a time. It's positioned on the ground, so it is not flying in any way, shape, or form. Its special ability, it has a charged ability, and with the charge ability, it slows all enemies on the battlefield for 6 seconds at level 1. It does increase the amount of time it does slow people for, but that slow will happen every 7 seconds. So that's how long it takes the charge to build up, is 7 seconds from when the card is placed on the battlefield. It is a 3 energy cost, and it is currently considered a high tier card within the current meta of the PvP ranks. So that is Poseidon Stan, guys. Now let's quickly transition into Stan the Great. So Stan the Great is again a fighter and is a fantasy theme. He is a common rarity, same as Poseidon Stan. Maximum health is 586 at max level 70. His max damage is 130 with DPS at 54.2, which both max damage and damage per second are both identical to Poseidon Stan, because as you can see the attack speed is a 2.4, which is identical to Poseidon Stan as well. Range is 0.7. Movement speed is 0.675, which again is the average movement speed for most fighter cards. His damage type is single target. He is on the ground as well. His special ability is a charge also, but his charge reduces the damage of all enemies, which starts at 5 seconds, and that is cast every 7 seconds again. So it's the same basically the same principle. One slows where one debuffs the amount of damage done. So the difference with him is it doesn't increase the amount of reduced attack. It increases the amount of attack reduced. So that is buffed as you level him up. So he will do they will do even less damage. And at times can get, if you get him into rank 5, rank 6, he can reduce over 130, 150 damage, which basically means it cancels out the damage output of a lot of different units. So he's got an extremely strong charged ability, one of the better charged abilities in the game in my opinion. His energy cost is a 3, and he is currently a high tier card within the current meta. So now we've looked at each of the cards individually. Let's look at them side by side and break down and determine who our winner is going to be. So as you can see, there is a lot of draws here on the board here, guys, for both these cards. Type and theme, pretty much not really a big deal. They're both fighter cards. That's the main drawback there. Theme doesn't really matter. You don't really get an advantage by being one theme over the other. Rarity is the same. They're both common cards, so they're going to cost the same amount of materials to level them up, and gold and things like that. maximum health, Poseidon has 1 more health than Stan the Great. But again, this is the same kind of controversy we had with, I believe, Butters and Kenny, or it was Smuggler Ike and Bandita Sally. There was just a 1-point difference. But technically it still matters. Poseidon Stan has a 1-point difference, so he wins the maximum health battle. Maximum damage and DPS is the exact same. They have the same max total damage and same amount of DPS because underneath it the attack speed is the same. As far as first hit, there is no gauge to gauge first hit of fighter cards to the same level as there are assassins currently within the system that I use to determine these breakdowns. So I can't tell you who's going to hit first. Because they have the same range and same attack speed, I would assume that would be a draw as well as far as first hit, if that's something I know you guys ask about when I do these breakdowns. So it should be the same as well as far as first hit, but I'm not 100% on that, so don't assume that I'm 100% saying that. But that's just my guess based on the fact that the range and attack speed are identical, that the first hit would be the same. Movement speed is identical. Damage type and position are both identical. Special ability, I say Stan the Great has an advantage because his charge is better because it debuffs the amount of damage done. Poseidon Stan's power is very good because it slows people. It's very underrated what Poseidon Stan's able to do for people, and that there are a lot of people have now kind of moved away from mystical theme and have now focused on fantasy, sci-fi, and adventure right now. Mystical theme has been considered to be the lowest tier kind of theme, if you will, just because of all the nerfs that were done to Power Bind and Purify. I still think there is definitely some still strength in the mystical theme, and Poseidon Stan is still a very solid fighter card for his cost, for his buildability, and his chargeability is still very useful. Having that slow is very undervalued, and I honestly thought Poseidon Stan was kind of worthless until I had to use him in one of the weekend events and really started to kind of fall in love with him a little bit more. But I still think Stan the Great's debuff of the overall total damage is better than the slow of Poseidon Stan, so that's why I gave Stan the Great the special ability point over Poseidon Stan. Energy cost is a draw. They're both 3 energy. So then now we have a tie, 1-to-1, max health of Poseidon by 1 point and Stan the Great by 1 point with special ability. So I had to determine who the winner was going to be because I'm not going to have this be a draw. So within the current meta tier, in my opinion, Stan the Great is a more widely used card over Poseidon Stan because fantasy theme is stronger, is stronger in certain aspects. But I feel like Stan the Great is at a higher level of the current tier than Poseidon Stan would be, just because of use and I think usefulness, because his charge again is better, but because they're pretty much draws all the way through with just a 1 health difference. I think his charged ability, because of that increase and that being more useful, puts him at a higher tier of the high tier than Poseidon Stan. So that's why I gave Stan the Great in the current meta tier 1 point advantage to give him a 2-to-1 win in the final score tally and make him the winner of this showdown. So that's my opinion, guys. I think between Poseidon Stan and Stan the Great would win that contest as far as being the better card. But I want to know what you guys think down below in the comment section, or if you agree with my breakdown here today. This was a close one, guys. It's a draw either way. Both these are solid Stan cards and can be useful in the right theme style decks because they're both pretty well even keel, except their charge abilities are the big difference in my opinion. Stan the Great's is stronger, therefore he would win. But again, I'm going to try to stop doing so many just common breakdowns and do more breakdowns of different types of cards for you guys, because there are a lot of different things to take into consideration here. But I was nervous about doing epics, rares, and legendaries until all of the buffs kind of come out. But I think it looks like the BFU kind of has solved that as far as the buffing of those cards. And now they just need to work on all the bugs that are going on right now within the game. That needs to be the big focus of the BFU going forward, in my opinion. But if there's any specific showdowns you guys want to see, I do still have a plethora of suggestions as you guys have been giving me over the course of these showdown videos. And I plan to continue to try to do at least one of these a week. I know I didn't do one last week, but do plan to continue this going forward. But again, let me know down below what you guys think or any suggestions for showdowns you guys want to see. But until next time, guys, my name is Drewzy.